Hello guys, here's my reviews for the movies I've seen the last month. I know some of the movies are a bit old, but in some cases I just didn't want to pay for a ticket. Alright, so I watched The Irishman by Martin Scorsese. While I do like Scorsese's films very much, and I do enjoy his gangster period films like Goodfellas and Casino, I couldn't help but feel extremely bored by The Irishman. The main problem is that it tries to replicate the formula of his older films, so everything feels truly familiar and predictable. And another issue is that it's too damn long. Honestly, I can take long movies when there is something interesting about them. But there was no way I could care about this amount of unnecessary characters in The Irishman. Like, why even bother about this guy? The vignette-like feel of some scenes which did not contribute at all to the main plot. And is it just me or the facial reconstruction simply looks awful? What's wrong with the blue eyes? F***ing hell. And De Niro's face might look young, but he still works like this. Honestly, it's Pacino's and Pesci's acting that is really worth it. I guess it was time for some of them to redeem themselves. Overall, I would have enjoyed this film more if it wasn't so lengthy and disjointed. 5 out of 10. It, Chapter 2 by Andrea Muschietti. When I watched the first film, I was frankly surprised by how good it was, at least compared to the miniseries, which in my opinion has aged quite badly. However, I was disappointed by this continuation, especially because the adult actors simply lacked the spark of the child actors. Most of them were plain and unidimensional, and the episodic structure of the movie simply makes it worse. Like, we follow them one by one on the not so scary errands, and oh god, the CGI is just so bad. Seriously, all the monsters look cartoony as hell, it's just laughable. 4 out of 10. Ad Astra by James Gray. This is a beautiful, slow sci-fi piece which reminds me of some classics like Solaris by Tarkovsky, especially in the way it uses space exploration as a means for spiritual exploration. Looking inside by looking outside. And while the film looks great, the pace is steady and tense most of the time and the main plot is intriguing, the ending was rather unsatisfying. I guess that's what I get for raising my expectations, but I was feeling empty and unmoved by the end of the film. Other than that, it really is one of the best sci-fi of the last couple years. 8 out of 10. Ready or Not by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette. The interesting part about this film is that the directors haven't really made anything good, at least that I know of. I mean, they're probably recognized for one segment in the VHS anthology movie, and it was arguably the worst part of it. Anyway, Ready or Not is a surprisingly good horror comedy with lots of action and darkly funny moments. The film does become repetitive at half, but the very episode resolution really pays off. 6 out of 10. Dora and the Lost City of Gold by James Bobon. I genuinely hate live-action remakes of cartoons. Just look at the damn Scooby-Doo films and you'll know what I mean. But I watched this expecting it to be a so bad it's good experience, just like other instances. However, Dora was a bit of a mixed bag. The first half of the film is actually pretty good. It's funny to see Dora struggling to fit in school, as she's been raised in the jungle and does all sorts of weird shit. It's almost surreal. Nonetheless, the second part of the film really gets boring and generic. And f***ing hell, did you really have to include Eugenio Derbez into the damn film? I'm so mad, you have no idea. The film would actually have been bearable if not for this guy. Dude, speaking random Spanish doesn't make it funny, chingada madre. Bah. The film's passable, I guess, at least for live-action remake standards. 3 out of 10. The Farewell by Lulu Wang. A simple, heartwarming drama about a girl who must travel back to China after discovering her grandma has only a few months to live, all while trying to hide the news from her. The way I see it, The Farewell is a celebration of life and all its small details. There is much beauty in simple things like having dinner with your family and sharing a few words. The film itself is not very narrative, but instead it portrays these intimate moments in a respectful, humble way. That's what's great about the film. The ending is a bit very anticlimactic, but it's worth it for everything else. 8 out of 10. Claws by Sergio Pablos and Carlos Martinez Lopez. I'm glad someone is taking 2D animation seriously again. I really don't get why so many studies don't focus on it anymore, because as Claws shows, it can be beautiful and very charming. Claws is a sort of origin story about, you guessed it, Coca-Cola Man. The structure resembles traditional fairy tale and Disney structures. You know, this guy is bad and arrogant, right? So he's gotta do something difficult and unpleasant, right? And he becomes nice and kind in the process, right? It's still got a personal touch though. I especially like the idea of telling Santa Claus's story without appealing to fantasy, because everything in the movie can be explained sort of logically. There is no magic in it, and I think that's an unconventional approach, to say the least. I really enjoyed Santa's backstory, even if predictable, but that's because everything makes me cry. Everything, seriously. 7 out of 10. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker by J.J. Abrams. Alright, let's set this straight. I love Star Wars, even though I acknowledge they're not really good films. They're just very entertaining and fairly well made. So I didn't expect much from this, no one should, even though to me The Last Jedi was the best Star Wars film since maybe The Empire Strikes Back. So I came out quite happy about it. The Rise of Skywalker has everything I liked about the franchise in the first place. I know some of it is just fan service, but what the hell. All Star Wars is fan service. Also, Kylo Ren's character development is probably the best he's had in this new trilogy. And the pace was solid enough to keep me engaged. Of course, some of the plot twists are really predictable and some turns came out of the f***ing blue, but it's okay. I just hope they let Star Wars die and rest in peace. Or at least take a long, long break. 6 out of 10. Marriage Story by Noah Baumbach. So here's another movie with Adam Driver in it. Yay, and if anyone dared doubt about his acting skills, he should just watch this film. What a piece of work, really. The movie is a beautiful but heartbreaking tale of a married couple trying to get a divorce, all while struggling to stay close to their child and not destroy each other or themselves in the process. Again, both Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are great on the roles, all their lines are powerful and authentic. The movie draws heavily from Ingmar Bergman's chamber pieces. Hell, they even show a poster of Bergman's scenes from a marriage. And I also felt some of Mike Leigh's style in the use of space, sound and dialogue. In this sense, I just really wish the movie didn't resemble theater so much. After all, this is cinema. However, the situations are always intense and moving. Did I tell you everything makes me cry? Yeah, well, this film did. At least 3 times. 8 out of 10. That's it for now. I hope to watch more films in the next couple weeks, so I'll see you soon. Bye.